Welcome everyone to another live edition of Spoiler Warning, hosted by Tom Colohue. Now introducing your host, Tom Colohue. Hi, it's me, the guy who just did that intro there. Welcome everyone to Spoiler Warning. This is where we talk wrestling news. This is where you hear fresh, exclusive news that you can't hear anywhere else, plus plenty of updates on news that you've already heard, with just a teensy little bit more information. Welcome everyone to the show. Our headlines today will cover primarily more Vince McMahon stuff. He is now confirmed as under federal investigation. We're going to be talking plenty about that situation. Plus, what is going on with the edits intended for WWE content, particularly as regards the move over to Netflix. What's going on backstage? What are people backstage discussing when it comes to this crazy world of Vince McMahon stories? What are wrestlers doing to try and keep up to date with the situation? And how will this affect the WWE and their new deals that they're trying to make happen? We also have a little bit on Dave Meltzer continually mentioning The Rock. Every opportunity, it's going to happen next, it's going to happen next, it's going to happen next. More on that. The early start time, the WrestleVotes is reported for WrestleMania, NXT call-ups, and what's going on with Brock Lesnar. Plenty to talk about when it comes to the wonderful world of wrestling, as always. And as usual, we will be answering as many of your questions as we can as well. 47 people here, 16 likes. Be sure to hit that thumbs up. Let's see what people are talking about before we get to our first piece of news. Spider-Boss is asking about Jacob Fatu. The WWE certainly could. Would they? Probably yes. Spider-Boss also says, good to know that WrestleMania confirmed your reports about Mercedes money. In fact, let's get to that. That's the perfect launch-off point. So you will have seen in the last few days reports that Sasha Banks, now known as Mercedes Money, has now signed. I was able to confirm those reports on Monday and able to go out quite confidently and say she has signed a deal with AEW. It's always funny when moments like that come and then a couple of hours later you see everyone else's name all over it. We're also going to be mentioning that one as regards the Brock Lesnar report. I don't want to talk too much about Brock Lesnar in general with everything swirling around him right now, but how many people are suddenly reporting that Brock Lesnar versus Gunther was the WrestleMania plan? You know the first person to report that? Right here. But where's my name on it? Nowhere. I'm not bitter though. Doesn't really matter. I just want the news to get out. And that's why we continue to talk Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon is under federal investigation. This has actually been ongoing for almost 2 years now. The WWE investigation, which cost millions of dollars, which Vince McMahon paid back when he returned to the company. Essentially, he loaned them money to investigate him. Has come to fruition. They said they found nothing through millions of dollars, but it turns out federal investigation was still ongoing that entire time. His home has been raided, belongings have been seized, and multiple witnesses and multiple accusers have been contacted and interviewed. There is no getting away from this one. If he ever comes back to WWE, I will be stunned. We may do a live stream where I literally just eat a hat. That's the sort of situation we're in. Some historic issues are being raised. People who came forward, settled, are now still coming back to haunt Vince McMahon because they didn't have to go quietly. The non-disclosure agreements, the NDAs, Vince McMahon wrote those up himself, or at least he is accused of doing so. As part of this federal investigation, it's been found that they could well be null and void, meaning that anyone who has signed a non-disclosure agreement with Vince McMahon on behalf of the WWE may be legally entitled to breach it whenever they so choose. Many moons ago, after the first Wall Street Journal report, I was here at Spoiler Warning and I said to you all, Vince McMahon has gone. He's retired. He's gone quietly. And with this in mind, things won't chase him. A clear message has been sent to Vince McMahon, sources indicate, stating that if he stays gone, there'll be no more trouble and he can retire, disappear quietly into the sunset. He chose not to do that. I told you more was coming, guys. So, Vince McMahon is looking like he'll be edited out of quite a lot of WWE footage, high packages, particularly for, WrestleMania. Will have his name removed from it. and you will see some clever editing used to hide his presence. We will see a little bit more of the good old-fashioned Stone Cold Steve Austin feud, but the WWE, particularly TKO, are confident that that's so much in the past that they can actually carefully and quite happily remove a lot of Steve Austin stuff as well because of how long ago it happened. That does mean hiding quite a lot of something that happened recently at WrestleMania, 2 years ago when Brock Lesnar was the main event, and right before him, Vince McMahon was featured in a wrestling match with Pat McAfee. A match that he won. So there'll be a lot of editing done, but the WWE are planning to do it quietly. Netflix will be involved in vetting this to ensure that Vince McMahon is not all over their platform. As regards what's going on backstage and what's going on with the wrestlers, there has been no real communication with WWE wrestlers about the situation. Triple H has not made any speeches beyond speaking to 2 people directly about what they are allowed to say to the media. Not a hard couple of names to work out. Those 2 are Bayley and Cody Rhodes. To my knowledge, they are the only 2 who've been spoken to about what's going on with these accusations, and they've essentially been told to swerve it. Most wrestlers have taken the lead of Triple H in avoiding mentioning anything. There was a very clear message sent of we're not talking about this, but no one has directly been spoken to. As such, wrestlers have had to start looking it up themselves. You would be not at all surprised with the sheer amount of wrestlers who, 1, have read the entirety of the court filing, and 2, do not believe Triple H for a second when he said that he had not. WWE wrestlers are not happy with Triple H's response. Moving on though, when it comes to wrestlers, many of them are unhappy, not unhappy to a level that they have any intention of leaving, but they are raising questions about Triple H and the management at the moment. Ronda Rousey didn't just speak for herself, she was encouraged to speak up by a number of others when she mentioned Bruce Pritchard. Bruce Pritchard is not currently appearing even on his own podcast due to an apparent surgery. Now, how will this all affect WWE? First and foremost, quite a bit of the network information and network videos featuring Vince McMahon will not move over to Netflix. This will not affect the Netflix deal. As regards sponsorships, the WWE are confident, particularly Nick Khan, that they have quelled any talk of mutiny from sponsors. So with Vince McMahon going when he did, the WWE remain confident that they have put out the fire before it even began. That said, the federal investigation in question is not just against Vince McMahon. The federal investigation in question also mentions the WWE. So the WWE might face one hell of a battle even without Vince McMahon involved. Our top story today, Vince McMahon is under federal investigation. We have 81 people here and 28 likes, 2 more guesses to 30. If you can be the 2, I'd very much appreciate it. Lauren says, I'm your mod today. Consider yourself on notice, brother Mark. Marcel says, hi Tom and chat, how are you all? Doing well, Marcel, welcome to the show. And Selvik says, hello Tom, hope you're doing better. Much better, thank you. I do finally feel 100%, which is very nice, a nice feeling to have. Michael says, hi Tom, slow week, huh? Yeah, real slow. It's one of those, you get them every now and then, where everything just happens at once, and I'm busy at the day job, and the Royal Rumble was happening, and I have family to look after. There's just a lot happening. Good afternoon, Eric. Hello, Bob G. How are you? King Hazard says, hey, Tom, are we getting Cody versus Roman still with Punk's injury? At the moment, yes, that is the plan. Ed says, who is this snazzy dress guy? Where's the animal onesie? It's getting warmer. And then I got dressed because I've been in the bath, hence why I have my hair like this. And I was still cold, so it's been sat there for so long. Why not? Why not? Thank you, Ed. Spider-Man says, good promo by Seth Rollins on Raw. I wonder who Seth will face at WrestleMania. The last month or so, the promos on Raw have been fantastic. Chris Gannon says, evening. Good evening, Chris. Razar says, hello, Tom. Rock is apparently spotted in the same city. SmackDown is tonight. Could this mean he's appearing? What's your source, Razar? Steve says, how does this Vince investigation affect The Rock's involvement in WWE business? Do the allegations tarnish the legacy of WWE? Well, Steve, as regards The Rock, there is no correlation whatsoever between them. Anything that that Vince McMahon is currently under investigation for happened before The Rock became involved in WWE management, and the vast majority of it will have happened while Rock was not with the company. After all, he actually wasn't with the company particularly long. As regards the legacy of WWE, this has been an open secret for a long time, hasn't it? There is a video on my YouTube channel which goes into detail about who Vince McMahon is. It details a number of people who are actually named in lawsuits against Vince McMahon. So if you want to know more details, it's all there. It was actually a while ago, I believe it was well over a year ago, that I created it. And it's the one where I'm screaming into pillows quite a lot. We all knew who he was. Leon says, hi Tom, hope you're doing well. Doing much better, thank you Leon, and yourself. Joey says, hey Tom, got any news on Jacob Fatu? None whatsoever at this point in time. Razar says, do you think the Mercedes AEW deal is more than a year? Yes, I do. Spider-Man says, when the big announcement from Tony Khan appeared, Andrew Zarin hinted the debut of Mercedes. Of course, now the reports are out there that Mercedes will debut in March from the same people who told us she would debut in January. Khalid says, very excited for spoiler warning tonight. Good, good. Joey says, is it true Ari Emanuel plans on cleaning house and getting rid of everyone close to Vince? No, Ari Emanuel has no intention of doing that because he does not know everyone close to Vince. Ari Emanuel will have other people who do that for him. Hector says, WWE should just back the money truck up to Drew's house and give him what he wants already, because that man is doing some of the best heel work, not only TV, but also on social media, and it's great. I wholeheartedly agree. Callie says, evening Tom, a lot of stuff coming out of the woodwork indeed, though I will repeat, much of this stuff is not news, unfortunately. Yes, I did, Joey. In fact, that's a great launch point. Joey is saying, did you see Johnny Ace or John Laurinaitis claiming to be a victim of Vince? Through a spokesperson, or at least a legal attorney, showing that he is probably quite rightly lawyered up at this point, John Laurinaitis came short of confirming anything, but did essentially say, if you read through the court hearing, the court documentation, you'll see that he's a victim too. In many ways, that feels like a Freudian slip and a very clear indication that Vince McMahon did indeed do these things. But to be clear, at the moment, they are still allegations. Still allegations. And Michael says Vince is getting the name redacted treatment. Indeed. Brayster, thank you very kindly. Welcome to the show, sir. Been a little while since I've seen that name. Good to see you, and thank you very kindly for a generous donation of a channel membership that has gone to Lauren, who I believe, Lauren, that's your first time with a channel membership. Please do enjoy the members only videos while we have them. I will continue to build on them, and as we're talking more about the Vince McMahon situation, some of it will definitely go into members only section. I'll be putting something together tomorrow on that one. Joey says, did you see WWE firing... Oh, do you see WWE firing Brock or giving him some kind of buyout? More on that shortly. Hector says, John Laurinaitis trying to come off as a victim had me baffled in more than one way, because that's disgusting if he truly believes that. Once again, they are still allegations at this point, so I cannot confirm. Spider-Boss says, WWE raising any reference to Brock Lesnar, so Brock's last match was him losing against Cody. That is not happening at this point in time. Chris says, the problem with removing Vince McMahon is they can cut out the character in his announcing, but his identity is infused in the company. TKO firmly believe that that will change over time. Clyde says, hope everyone's weekend has started off great. Clean blazer, Tom. Let's hit the like button and subscribe if you have not already. Thank you, Clyde. Lauren says, will Netflix be using their post-production editors to get the VKM content out of past things, or will WWE try and get it done by themselves? WWE have been clearly instructed to get it done by themselves. However, Netflix will be going through everything with a fine-tooth comb and will not be happy if they don't get the job done. Ohio says, if everything is true about the Brock Lesnar part of the lawsuit, I wonder if Vince used any other girl... Okay. Once again, allegations. Being careful what we say. Spider-Boss says, Vince getting the name redacted treatment, so the 99 Rumble was won by name redacted. Yep. 2 Rumble wins for name redacted. Noob says, hello everyone. Chris says, good evening Tom. Welcome guys. Khalid says, can't wait to see Cody Rhodes, Roman face-to-face tonight. SmackDown promises to be a good one. AHCar says, any news on 2K24? Nope. Any news on Hall of Fame? Nope. Last news I had on 2K24 was that there was going to be 4 Bray Wyatts in it. Sovic said, does Triple H have any involvement or would he be in trouble? Any involvement in what, Sovic? Also, Mello, Bron, Trick, Tiffany getting called up to the main roster. More on call-ups shortly. Aaron, I was cold and it was here. Plus, sometimes I like to look good. And let's face it, today, when I clicked my screen, I thought, oh, I actually look quite good. I don't hate how I look. That is rare. Okay? That is rare. So I enjoy it while I can, and I enhance it. Joey says, is a plan now for Bron Breakker to take Brock's spot on the main roster? Not entirely. It doesn't seem like they're going all the way with it. But Bron did take Brock's spot at the Rumble. First reported by me during the Rumble watch party. And the credit was given to PWInsider and Fightful. King Azza says, hey Tom, would it be shocking if Roman beats Cody at WrestleMania 40 without interference? Yes, it would. Bracer says, hey Tom, you look very smart. No red panda suit tonight. Not tonight, Bray, though it will be returning at some point, I'm sure. It is spoiler warning colours. Lately I've been wearing a black one and being a wizard. It's got a hood and everything. It's great fun. It's great fun. Thank you again, Bracer. Another generous donation and a little sticker as well of, I believe that's a hippo. Looks very Arthur. Thank you very kindly, Bracer. I appreciate you. We have 90 people here and 44 likes. One more to 45, guys. One more. Ohio says, you did a whole video on all of the allegations against Vince. I hope you showered afterwards. This was well before the current state of allegations hit. Chris says, the most recent news about the lawsuit and federal investigation seems to have revived interest in the Ring Boys scandal. Anyone who doesn't know about that should look it up. A very fair point, Chris. People might want to check that out because it does talk a lot about the culture of WWE at the time. Number of the Devil says, any idea on if Triple H can be removed as well? If Triple H is found to have had involvement in any of this, chances are he will be removed and federally investigated also. To be clear, at this point, there is no evidence and no suggestion that Triple H is involved in any of this. Just to be clear on that one. Joey says, is Bruce Pritchard's job in jeopardy now? Once again, if Bruce Pritchard is found to have any involvement in any of this, his job may well be in jeopardy. However, at current, the only suggestion that Bruce Pritchard may have been involved in any of this is via Ronda Rousey, and she was not talking about the allegations, but mostly just the presence of Vince McMahon. Mark says, hey Tom, can Triple H redeem his legacy or how wrestlers feel about him, because it feels like Vince is going to drag everyone down with him? To be clear, people are a little bit disappointed in Triple H. However, he's not destroyed his legacy. There's nothing to redeem at this point in time. Sai says, as uncomfortable as this sounds, thank you, Sai. As always, please all remember these are allegations only at present. We do have to be careful what we say, because slander and libel are real things. 23 says, have you heard stories about the business that you will never tell anyone? Certainly many things that are not my story to tell. Many of you, actually wait, 23. Many of you here will actually know full well a wrestler with a story about them that I absolutely cannot tell. You all know who it is. Lawrence says, source for The Rock in Alabama at Amped Fitness in Birmingham is a personal source of photos, Cole Tenner. Cool. Thank you very much, Lauren. Appreciate that. You're very good at what you do. Very smooth, very quick. And yeah, I wouldn't fully trust that. Alyssa says, why is Seth Rollins begging have match Seth Rollins? Doesn't make Seth Rollins begging Cody Rhodes. Where story going, Seth? Cody. To keep it interesting. Edward says, I'm excited for Bayley's announcement tonight. Really curious how the story goes. Kristen also asks what's going on with Bayley tonight. Bayley is going on to SmackDown tonight to declare who she is going to challenge after winning the Royal Rumble. If she challenges Rhea Ripley, which is what Damage Control want, then Becky Lynch has a whole different story ahead of her and a very different elimination chamber. But of course, these things can change. $49 likes, guys, 98 of you. One more to 50. Give us one more. Marcel says, is there any news on Malachi Black? None that we haven't already reported. We've been pretty ahead of the story on this one. Gold said, it's sad that Meltzer's using this to attack Triple H. Meltzer, to be clear, is quoting an unnamed source, which is, yeah, outright attacking Triple H. Aaron, I was not at a funeral today. I like wearing black. And to be fair, this is really colourful inside. My insides are very colourful. Joey said, is the Vince Netflix documentary going to be scrapped now? Not to my knowledge. It is, after all, complete and ready to go. And given what they've dug up, likely quite pertinent. Bracelet says, what chance Pretty Deadly winning the tag titles at WrestleMania? Slim, particularly if Judgment Day are the ones involved. If we go multiple teams, there's opportunity there. But I'm looking at particularly teams like Street Profits, teams like AOP, as more likely to pick up that victory. Steve says, does this mean Pat McAfee is still undefeated at WrestleMania? Nope, it means he's been defeated by nobody. David says, how much will this Vince stuff cost WWE? There is no end to what this could possibly cost. Hello, Gold. Sovik says, okay, involvement in this case. Gotcha, okay. As I mentioned, if Triple H is found to have been involved during the course of investigation with any of these allegations, then the investigation will pass to him. At current, there is no suggestion and no allegation against Triple H. True, Clyde, but to be fair, as I say, it's getting warmer. I may well do so. Spider-Boss says, Seth Rollins begging for Cody to face him at WrestleMania 40 was well done. Bracer says, I know you're busy with wrestling stuff, but any chance for more Colohue gaming? Thank you for the question, Bracer. It does every now and then remind me that I did do some gaming stuff, and I do want to get back to it. Then I met a girl and her 2 daughters. And I'm struggling a little bit for my timing at the moment. This seems an ideal time to mention that the watch parties for SmackDown will not be returning at this point in time. I will be continuing with pay-per-views, but I do need my sleep on Friday nights now. I'm sorry to say it, but for at least the duration right now, and I won't be going into detail, right now, I need to be fresh on a Saturday. I hope you all understand. As regards Colohue Gaming, I'd like to. I had a pretty comprehensive plan drawn up. What I need is an editor. What I need essentially is to hire an editor so that I can do the voiceover, do the script, and then pass it to someone, say, find me clips on this game. Here's a number of channels that you can use who've given me data. There's a lot of long play channels which work really well at the minute. But it's a lot of work for someone with multiple other channels as well. I think it may go to shorts before it goes to anything else, because shorts are where the views are now. King Azza says, do you think Cody will make his choice at Elimination Chamber? Nope, I think he's already made it. Thank you, Ed, for dropping the link. Much obliged. I'm just going to pin that to the top so everyone can see it. Thank you very kindly. Gold says, why do a lot of fans want Triple H to be removed from creative? A lot of fans want everything. So you'll get fans who want this, fans who want that, fans who want the opposite. Nobody can make their goddamn mind up. Zane says, Mustafa Ali announced for 6 TNA shows. Source, Ringside News. Thank you for sourcing, Zane. Ali's World Tour continues apace. I'm very excited for it. Juan says, hey Tom, assuming Vince is innocent and he'll be allowed back, assuming he's innocent by some miracle, I would imagine there was a follow-up to that one, but I can't see it. So I'm going to go ahead and not assume anything. Feeling good, thank you, Eric. Appreciate that. Ori says, good evening to the most reliable and well-dressed wrestling news source. Thank you, Ori. I appreciate you. Jan says, what are the odds of Becky versus Rhea main event night 1 of WrestleMania 40? High. Not 100%, but high. I just want to be clear on this one. I posted a tweet stating that Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley was back in contention to main event night 1. It was not well received. Not well received at all. It got a lot of hate. There's also a few tweets recently that have caught a lot more attention. Like a lot more attention. For example, my tweet about Malachi Black was retweeted by Raj Giri, formerly of Wrestling Inc. I made sure to send him a thank you afterwards because that's a pretty big name in this field. What can I say? Tom Colohue starting to get some attention. Jason says, greetings Tom and chat. Thank you for that 50th like. Hope you all are well. We are indeed. Thank you, Jason. Spider-Boss says it will be weird seeing WWE without any member of the McMahon family. Might not be for long. Eric says, what if instead of turning on Bayley, they split? Dakota goes to Bayley, Kabuki Warriors go with Io. That is not the plan at this point in time. Oh, interesting. Chris Gannon says Modern Nomad is doing a tribute show to Mad Kurt at the Bread Shed in Manchester in March with the proceeds going to his family. I've been there. It's a good spot for it. Thank you for letting us know that, Chris. That's good stuff. Razar says, so is the government investigating WWE or just Vince? It is a federal investigation against Vince McMahon and activities he undertook in WWE. They are officially investigating Vince McMahon for things that happened during his time at WWE. WWE, by extension, will have investigations undertaken. Michael says there's a lawyer who does YouTube videos named Bruce Rivers. He goes over the whole lawsuit and thinks the evidence is overwhelming and could cost WWE hundreds of millions, maybe even $1 billion. It's a really good video. I've heard about it, Michael. Haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but I am excited. Thank you for dropping that in here. HCar says, Tom, any news on DIY? No news. I don't really know what news you'd be asking for. They're currently wrestling more than they used to. That's kind of all we've got. Michael, just quickly, I've mentioned it a few times. I want to officially ask the question. Do you have any interest in actually working as a researcher/journalist? Just going to open that question up. Part-time, like technically freelance, but we could work something out. Spider-Boss says, do you think Stephanie McMahon could return to WWE? I think could. There's a lot of work in that sentence. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate you. King Either says, in my opinion, it doesn't make any sense for Cody to go after Seth. He has beaten Seth 3 times, and I don't want Cody losing again. Jason says, sleep is more important than a watch along. Get that rest, man. Thank you kindly. Gold. What news are you referring to there? I know that there were discussions, particularly from Tony Khan, about rumoured $1 billion deals. They did not come to fruition. I made an entire WTF Wrestling report on this. The dude says, kudos to you, Tom, for reporting on all of this so carefully. I've seen too many making assumptions and accusing people not even named in the suit. Thank you, the dude. I appreciate that. As you guys know, there is a mission statement here. Like a mission statement that we like to run by in the Tom Colohue channels. It's a mission statement that is followed and upheld by the moderation team. Ed, Lauren, Megan, Sai, all have done their part to ensure that this exact thing is upheld. It's upheld by many of you as well. It's why we talk about sourcing the information and why it's not a dig at anyone. I hope nobody takes it that way. I just need to see a source. It's a really simple mission statement. Make this the most well-informed place in wrestling. A huge part of that isn't just reporting everything you can. It's ensuring that we're reporting the right things. It's vetting sources. It's ensuring that people are media literate and aware of when something is a third-hand source versus when something's a first-hand source. All of this is vitally important. It's about respecting when something is an allegation and, until proven, could be set up to ruin someone's life. It's also about recognizing that we choose to believe people. We just don't act on that belief in a way that would damage others. That's the difference. To be perfectly candid, purely my personal opinion, a whole lot of this stuff rings true based on what we've heard of Vince McMahon's history, based on what's already been proven, and based on what I have personally heard. But that is an opinion. An opinion. And we always make sure that an opinion's over here and a fact is over here. That's the mission statement here. Simple, clear, true. That's what's important. Simple, clear, true. SCT. Honestly, I should probably swap it around because then it's like my initials. My initials are TDC, but TSC could also work. Joey says, SRS reported Okada has been in talks with WWE. Do you have any additional news? Nope. As far as I'm aware, they couldn't really come to any sort of conclusion and didn't really try very hard to do so. Daniela says, Tom, since they challenged for the tag titles, why do you reckon the Creed brothers have dropped off so much, not getting much time on Raw since their title match? Because what would have been their airtime has gone to DIY. Welcome, Dane. Thank you kindly for subscribing on the YouTube side. You'll get notifications every time we go live. And with our WTF Wrestling videos, which is our media analysis, our PLE Wednesdays, which is just about the upcoming pay-per-views, and on Thursdays, our Fun Fact Thursdays, which is just about fun things for wrestlers. HCar says, any news on Omos and MVP? They brought Omos into the Rumble, but essentially it kind of looks like a one-night thing. Gotcha, Michael. Let's talk more. Good to know, Khalid. Good to know. Spider-Boss says, SRS gave credit to Andrew Zarian for the Mercedes money news, but SRS never gave you credit for the Mercedes money news, and so much of it. In fact, almost everything I've ever reported about Mercedes money, when it comes to SRS, he's called me a liar. Including, for example, that she wasn't booked for the go-home show before the SummerSlam when Becky Lynch returned. I was called a liar by Fightful and by PWInsider. Then Becky Lynch confirmed it. To Alex McCarthy, who had shared this falsification that I was lying. Garbage. Jason says, sources always need to be cited 100%. It's not just about the source, it's about you as an individual. Because if you come in here and say this is happening and it's wrong, well then you've said it. You've reported it. I don't care what sources say afterwards. If you come in here and say Punk was always going to win the Rumble, and I can say conclusively that he wasn't, you are wrong. But if instead you come in here and say this person has said that Punk was always going to win the Rumble, then I can say they were wrong. So there's a lot of that as well. 23 says, have you thought of doing Rumble streaming? Do you mean streaming on Rumble? McGuawa says, do you think Vince will end up in prison like R. Kelly? Far too early to talk about that as a possibility. I don't want to prejudice the outcome of the investigation. Spider-Boss says, some promos of Vince from the Ruthless Aggression era haven't aged well. Now the Vince allegations appeared. Most of what he has done has not aged well. Sai says, rule of thumb here for reporting rumours, quality over quantity. My hope is that through WTF Wrestling, through these conversations, all of you are becoming so well informed about how wrestling media works that you only bring in here stuff that you've already yourself vetted. I know, for example, Lauren does that. Joey, Triple H does not make the final decision when it comes to signing wrestlers. A lot of people making that assumption. Juan says, TK's major announcement will be I signed my Mercedes money, another ratings bait. Firstly, not his, in any way, not his. But yes, it's 100% ratings bait. Thank you, Khalid says, I liked your Elimination Chamber prediction video you did on Wednesday. That's done pretty well. The PLE Wednesday stuff has a very limited shelf life, and once the pay-per-view is done, it's gone. WTF Wrestling lasts a little longer, but ultimately I'm still talking about what's going on at the time. Fun Fact Thursdays, doing pretty well when it comes to people just watching them in batch. Gold says, what's your opinion on WWE? What are your opinion on WWE? Don't want to compete with AEW or free agents like Okada, Ospreay, Jay White. Is this best for business? That's not the case. WWE outright competed for Jay White and were interested in Will Ospreay. Very different situation though. Barry says, personally, I always go red sauce on bacon, brown sauce on sausages. And by brown sauce, I always go HP. HP's where it is, man. HP's where it is. I live for HP sauce. I'm not a ketchup guy. I never got it. HP? I can't even believe it's fruity. Doesn't make sense. Michael says, on the bright side, Deonna and Tony was announced as a title match at Revolution. That will be fantastic. I do have to say, I do feel that Tony Khan is massively improving his women's division at the moment. I almost feel like he had a point to prove. Spider-Ball says, it's funny that WWE now mentioned Trinity. Almost 2 years ago, WWE called Trinity unprofessional. They did. Things have since changed. You'll never guess who wrote that particular statement. Chris says that this last week has shown how stupid it was for Nick Hausman to compare Chris Jericho to Harvey Weinstein when Vince was right there. Funny how all of that has gone quiet, isn't it? Nick Hausman, of course, was at the Royal Rumble scrum and was asking Cody Rhodes about Vince McMahon. Nick Hausman has gone very quiet about the whole Chris Jericho comparison that he made. And we've all just moved on. Joey says, I guess WWE would rather stick with the Omos type of wrestlers than go after the big ones. Quite possibly, because, you know, you've got Omos and such, but it depends who they're going after. Would you prefer Okada come in and get pushed, or Gunther? The WWE, I can tell you, would prefer Logan Paul. No, Ed, you got to try it. You got to try it. Dane says, you know it's serious when the G-men are involved. G? What's G? I'm confused. Is that an Americanism? I'm pleased that Okada won't be going to the WWE given how they misused Nakamura, Asuka, and Maida. I'm not sure who Maida is. Okada is better off elsewhere. To be honest, regardless of the nationality and the heritage, I do believe AEW is a better fit for Okada. Thank you, Ed. Term for government men. Gotcha. That makes sense, Dane. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Lauren. It is an Americanism I wasn't personally aware of. That I like as well. I like that. if ever anyone says something like they don't understand something, if literally anyone in this chat doesn't understand something or wants something clarified, you all help. We all help each other. Ray says, I'm so happy Elimination Chamber is at 11 a.m. instead of 1 a.m. Yeah, so let me explain this one. This one's fun. PLEs over the course of this year, fantastic for me in the UK. It's right in the morning for Elimination Chamber. Now, WrestleMania will still be middle of the night, but it'll be midnight. So I'll still be asleep by 4, which is great. Great. Then we go on to a show in Paris, apparently, which will be, you know, normal time here. Then we have a show in Germany, which will be normal time here. In the midst of all that, we have 2 Saudi Arabia shows, which I don't watch. So, oh, and then we'll have a UK show. It's going to be a great year to be a wrestling fan in the UK, I'll tell you that. Not so much in the US. Not so much. Daniela says, now we've seen Cargill at the Rumble, what brand do you reckon she ends up on? I have a feeling she'll be on NXT. I do not personally, I was still leaning towards Raw, but the report suggests SmackDown. Jason would not like to speculate on that one. Spider-Boss says, do you think Bron Breakker could benefit from having MVP as his mouthpiece? No, I reckon he's alright as a promo, to be honest. It says Elimination Chamber is going to be breakfast buffet. That's it, we'll have a breakfast party. Spider-Boss says, of all the rumours about Mercedes, I always believed she was going to sign with AEW. Me too. In fact, I believe I reported it first, that was the intention. I reported about the meeting at Forbidden Door, and that she was leaving Japan to go to AEW before she picked up the injury. Then I reported about her move in WTF Wrestling. I was first to report that there was an issue there. The first to report that the WWE made a major offer, and why she was unlikely to take it. And here we are again. Alyssa says, glad not get The Rock versus Roman Reigns. He out breath his cardio, not good, not confident. To get good, match The Rock out shape. I also am very glad that we're not seeing The Rock at WrestleMania. Thomas says, the WrestleMania start time is amazing for my sleep pattern. Let's talk about The Rock for a moment, because Dave Meltzer continues to be on a mission. We have 95 people watching and 59 likes. Be the one for me. Be the one. Hit like and get me to 60. The Rock is not currently planned for any match in the WWE. There are no concrete plans for any wrestling match featuring The Rock in the WWE. That's not changing the fact that Dave Meltzer is determined to just keep bringing this guy's name up. The latest report is that, yeah, it might happen. And that went viral. It went viral. Dave Meltzer saying, yeah, it's probably still going to happen at some point. The latest report now is about Saudi Arabia. Because of course it is. Of course it is. The man cannot get The Rock's name out of his goddamn mouth. And it is baffling to me. Baffling that this is happening. Baffling. I don't understand. Except I do. Because it's a very, very simple mission. A very simple mission. Dave Meltzer is ensuring that the Wrestling Observer is constantly getting backlinks. Constantly getting backlinks. Constantly getting traffic sent to it. Constantly earning money. Constantly earning ad revenue. And people are falling for it. Honestly, as an actual journalist, trained and qualified, disgusts me. Jason says, I'm in the US, Elimination Chamber is on at like 5 a.m. for me. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. You can wake up at 1:45. Job done. Blair says, well, WrestleMania next year be wherever they announce it. And Chris says, are WWE still planning on doing press conferences after PLEs? Yes, they are. TKO were not keen, but Triple H was determined, and they made it happen. Thank you very much, Squid, for a very generous donation. Very kind of you. Says, I like the jacket and blazer, Tom. Cheers. Thank you very much. Pardon me. If I'd have known that I could dress sexy and get money from you all, I'd have done it a lot sooner. Thank you very kindly, Squid. I appreciate you. And also thank you, Mr. Alex. Thank you very kindly for subscribing on the YouTube side. You will get notifications every time we go live. I can see you've asked a question and raised a point. I'm looking forward to getting to that. I'll be there just in a moment. Eric says, are you going to the UK show this year? Nope. I would rather work right here. Mark says, do you have any more news on where the UK show will be? It has not, at this point, been finalised. It is still to be determined. Spider-Boss says, more pay-per-views for UK. I like the Hey Bailey chants from UK fans. Be a great place for them to turn a face. The dude says, funny how people forget about all of the pushes and championships certain wrestlers have gotten in the past. They still claim WWE misused them. Daniela says, do you reckon Breaker and Mello end up both on SmackDown? More on that shortly. Roger says, do you think WWE will sign Jordan Grace in the future? Triple H is definitely interested. He did make that clear to her during the Rumble event. Eddie says, hi Tom, I have 2 questions. Any update on Okada? Nope. AEW still seems to be his destiny. And Jacob Fatu in WWE, to my knowledge, nothing has been certified as regards Jacob Fatu at this point in time. And when Malachi Black and Matthews contracts expire with AEW, multiple years from now. Kevin Dunlap says, good evening Tom and chat. How soon do you think we'll see Naomi? She does still have a little bit left to work out. Her contract has been bought out. We will see her in time for a WrestleMania event. Chris says, Dave Meltzer said on Observer Radio a few weeks ago he isn't friends with The Rock now. What a surprise. Steve says, how come we keep thinking The Rock is going to wrestle at WrestleMania? Nobody thinks that apart from Dave Meltzer. And Dave Meltzer thinks it for enough for all of us. Zane says, I wish the WWE PLEs was always at 11 a.m. in the UK. Me too. Jason says, Dave Meltzer clout chasing for The Rock. He's hype man. Not so much. The Rock can hype himself up. Have you met him? Well, I'd imagine not. But have you seen him? He be The Rock. You know? He's The Rock. He doesn't need the help. Mr. Alex says, hello, just letting you know. People are speculating that Brock Lesnar is going to be removed from the upcoming WWE 2K24. I want to commend you there, Alex, because you've been very clear that it's speculation. You said people are speculating, so you haven't suggested a source, but as a speculation, that's fine. And you've mentioned exactly what the speculation is. You brought in exactly what I'm looking for there, Mr. Alex, and I appreciate you for it. Now, when it comes to Brock Lesnar, we will be getting to that shortly. It is only a couple of pieces of news away. We're going to talk Mania, we're going to talk NXT, we're going to talk Brock up next. And then hopefully, once we get to the end of the hour, we'll be able to send a raid over to your friend of mine, Astrid Pizarro. She's due to go live in 18 minutes with Melball. So hopefully we're able to get that one kicked off. I haven't been able to find her stream yet, so I'd imagine she hasn't said to go live, but we'll see how it goes. Spider-Boss says 2 things guaranteed about Meltzer. 1, his hatred against CM Punk, and 2, he always will mention The Rock during WrestleMania season. I've gone into so much detail on this one. 3 years ago, I first mentioned his obsession and the fact that every year, Dave Meltzer or someone at the Wrestling Observer, Andrew Zarian's guilty of this as well, reports The Rock will be in a match against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. And then, just closer to the Royal Rumble, The Rock will not be in a match against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, and people carry both of them. The outlets feed off this crap. It is ridiculous. Jason plans on waking up early for Elimination Chamber. Good, good. We will be hosting a watch party. I hope to see many of you there as you can. Ed says the Tom Colohue calendar will be out soon after he finds out about how much money the Ladies of Chase U calendar makes. I'll wait and I'll see. I'll wait and I'll see. It's important. It's important. Barry said, can you title your video latest on The Rock versus Taylor Swift at WrestleMania, then just say it's not happening? I would be held to account for that. And so I should. So should Dave Meltzer. But the only person who seems interested in doing so is me. Blair, I never use hair gel in any way, shape or form. This is just how my hair goes. I am balding now. Like if I go like that, you can see it. Like I'm full on balding now, but you know, I am in my late 30s. Oh God, I just said late 30s. I still feel like I've just hit the 20s, Jesus. Selvik says, how many matches would there be in an Elimination Chamber pay-per-view? If you're interested in the Elimination Chamber plan, by all means check out PLE Wednesdays, where I detail everything I expect for Elimination Chamber. I had to record that twice, by the way, because I'm an idiot. Recorded it, edited it, exported it, looked at my export folder and thought, there's a lot in there, I should clean it out. Deleted it. Realised I deleted it, realised I couldn't recover it, had a little tantrum, did it all again. Sometimes you just gotta do it again. Joey says, is it true WWE officials are really impressed with the reaction Trick Williams got on the main roster? They were indeed impressed. They didn't realise they'd passed through to Gen Pop so keenly. Spider-Boss says, for be the big babyface in WWE, Cody gets everything Silver-handed, usually heels get everything silver-handed. You mean silver spoon and handed to him? What I will say is he lost against Roman, and that's why he lost. HCar says, any news on Kane in 2K24? Not that I'm aware of. Alyssa says, Nia Jax versus Rhea Ripley. Loves it. Feels like great villain versus great hero build. Nia Jax like I like. Elimination Chamber will definitely be for you. Michael says, Def taxes Roman versus Rock at WrestleMania. Mr. Alex says, from what I've read from PWInsider and Fightful Select, Brock Lesnar cannot be obtained in WWE Supercard. That is true, and that will be referenced later on as well. Ooh, there we go. Carlos says, as per PWInsider, The Rock will be on SmackDown tonight. Well, maybe he'll confirm that he's going to be wrestling Roman Reigns. He'll tease it. You know he'll tease it. But it's not about that. He's been teasing it since day one. Aled says, hello, how are you all today? I'm doing well, Aled. Hopefully everybody answers you. King Azza says, hey Tom, was Seth's promo on Monday done because of Punk's injury, or was that promo always a plan? That promo was always a plan. And much like I'd imagine The Rock is there to kind of suggest the same. Again, magic beans. Selvig says, thanks, I'll watch it for sure. I love watching the PLE Wednesdays. Makes me predict stuff much easier. I do think that's a big help of shows like that. It just helps everyone understand how the wrestling setup works and see some of the spots and the like. Joey says, do you see WWE saving Bobby and the Profits versus Cross Faction for Mania? I don't see them lasting that long. They're building to it every week. I imagine we're going to see some incarnations of it. I would like a 4-on-4. Thomas says, what do you think Bayley will be doing on SmackDown tonight? Exactly what they've announced. Choosing her opponent for WrestleMania. HCar says, any news when Dustin Rhodes' contract expires in WWE? No news, but I can't imagine it's going to expire anytime soon. The dude says, never was the biggest Sasha/Mercedes fan, but I'm curious how much effect she will actually have on AEW's business. It will be a true test of her actual drawing power. Tony Khan has absolute confidence that Mercedes money will give his company a massive shot in the arm. They're also trying to be a bit more clever when it comes to the booking of venues to try and make sure they're going to a variety of different places. There is also, at least in the UK, a bit of a cost of living crisis right now. People are feeling the pinch with the wonder that is inflation, so they got to get out of the country like WWE have been smart enough to do. And in fact, like AEW did with Wembley, which I was at. Daniela says, I'm really looking forward to the 8th of March for 2K24. Looking to be a really good game. Looks like they've improved the graphics and some superstars look much better than the last game and real refs too. Spider-Boss says, I'd love to see babyface Rhea. Fans don't boo Rhea. And they don't. They only really boo her when she stood next to Dominic Mysterio, which is why she's always stood next to Dominic Mysterio. WrestleVotes have reported, and I can confirm that the WWE are currently considering starting WrestleMania an hour earlier. The intention essentially is to put people into a position of dedicating their entire weekend to this one event. So if they started a little earlier, more house parties and the like, and it also means they can go a little later and people can still get home, or more drunk, whichever one works. They also are occasionally having a few issues at WrestleMania with people who are already drunk at the time of day because they just had too long to get drunk, so that's a concern as well. This is also part of the long-term plan to be more international, and as such that our change doesn't just work for the UK, it also works for Europe in general, as well as hopefully capturing more of the audience from growing areas like Australia. That's one of the plans behind it and one of the thinking. That's some of the logic behind it, and that's one of the reasons they're making that happen. A number of NXT call-ups are being planned. Some of them will not be wrestling immediately. Carmelo Hayes is on the agenda, as is Trick Williams. Bron Breakker we've already had confirmed. Tiffany Stratton is someone that Becky Lynch has been essentially begging to have called up for a while now. Tiffany Stratton versus Rhea Ripley has already been mentioned as something that could happen after WrestleMania, particularly if Becky Lynch takes the firm beating that she is expected to take. There is talk at the moment of Becky Lynch taking a break after WrestleMania. There is also talk, once again, as has happened in the past, of Seth Rollins taking a small break after WrestleMania while they work out their contracts and essentially just spend some more time with their family. That is something that's been mentioned, but I cannot at this point in time confirm that it's going to happen. I did report conclusively that Becky Lynch was planning to take time off after WrestleMania in 2020, which is something that she did. In that time she fell pregnant and ended up taking a little longer off than was expected. Sorry, in that time she discovered she was pregnant. So I have pedigree, this is what I was trying to say. As regards the call-up, Bron Breakker will be the cream of the crop, and the vast majority of focus will be on Bron Breakker, at least for the time being. As regards your Carmelo Hayes and your Trick Williams, the plan is, and Tiffany Stratton as well, the plan is that any focus on them needs to take place after WrestleMania. Not before, after WrestleMania. Blair says, which AEW or WWE wrestler could be the next horror movie icon? Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss, by the way, no rush to come back. The WWE have been in contact with her recently to see how she's faring and what she wants to do. To my knowledge, at this point in time, she wants to take a break. That's absolutely fine. The WWE are absolutely happy with that. But she has mentioned that she is looking to return to the WWE whenever she feels ready to do so. Sources indicate that Alexa Bliss has mentioned to the WWE that she does plan on eventually returning to the company. Ray says, I'll be watching TNA No Surrender on the 23rd, Elimination Chamber on the 24th. It's great to be a wrestling fan. There may be some overlap in those. TNA have requested the use of current WWE superstars to help them push TNA No Surrender. There is a number of WWE superstars who are relatively low down the pecking order who've essentially been requested the opportunity to go over to TNA and pick up a loss, which quite a number of them are more than happy to do. There's someone in the women's division and a couple of people in the men's who TNA have requested. Now, Triple H, particularly at the moment, is trying to suggest that there is a number of different people that could be offered. So there is a negotiation ongoing, and it may take longer than this event alone, but there is a current TNA deal that is working out in their favour. The WWE are happy to lend and loan and have a similar loan out system to what New Japan has used in years previous. We have 118 people watching and 62 likes. 3 more. Guesses to 65. 3 more. We did manage over the last few days to reach the 100 in one of these spoiler warnings, and I've got to say, that's a big moment, something I did not expect to see for a while. We have also reached a new record when it comes to subscribers, 5,567 subscribers. We are averaging about 100 subscribers per month. At the moment, for January, we achieved 52,000 views. The target is about 80,000 per month, but it will rise over the course of the month. WrestleMania period likely to be the busiest time. With that in mind, if I'm hitting 100,000 for WrestleMania season, before you know it, we will be hitting the million. The march for the million is ongoing, and we are doing fantastic. Michael says, let's remember now that The Rock is on the TKO board. He has a product to promote. Absolutely fair. And Spider-Boss says, I remember Alex McCarthy attacked me when I put you over with the Mercedes money news after she left WWE. Yep, that sounds right. You will find there's a number of people who, anytime my name is mentioned, literally anytime my name is mentioned, they will go on the attack. However, it's a smaller bunch than I first realised. I'm still followed by a number of very, very talented wrestling journalists, very well-informed people. David Bixenstan, who I will never stop mentioning as a wonderful, wonderful journalist. Stephanie Chase, who I will never stop mentioning as a wonderful, wonderful journalist. Rick Ucchino, who I will never stop mentioning as a wonderful, wonderful journalist. And plenty more. Raj Giri, as I mentioned earlier today. Andrew Zarian. There are people that I very much enjoy the work of who are not in that club. Who are actually not just open to talking to me, but to putting me over. I've mentioned before, going forwards, if you do want to do that, and I applaud you if you do so, the places to do it are areas like Wrestle Purists, WrestleTalk, places like that. Be the top reply in them, and before you know it, we're flying. Thomas says it will be interesting to see how she ends up picking EO. This from Bailey. HCar says, Tom, did you see 2K brought back climbing announce table? My source is Macho T and the Gen Gaming. Thank you kindly, Macho T, someone else who follows me, whose work I enjoy and is pretty well informed in 2K. I did not see that. Pardon me. Thank you kindly. Bismo says, tuning in late, rewinding from the start. Hope you're doing well, Tom. Same to you, Bismo. Nice to see you. Kevin says, Death Taxes. Meltzer believing The Rock will be at Mania for the umpteenth consecutive time. As said, this year I did feel it was actually more likely than ever. Thomas says, with WrestleMania changing times, do you think this could lead to having Mania outside of the US? No. Personally, I never see WrestleMania outside of the United States. Sean says, hi Tom. Hello, Sean. And says, chances Bailey Trolls doesn't pick Lyra Valkyria. I wouldn't hate the idea. Wouldn't hate it. HCar, I've just mentioned Alexa Bliss. I will not be mentioning Carmella. I have nothing there. When it comes to a return from pregnancy, there is never going to be any news. Until the moment when it's now happening, there will never be any news. When it came to Becky Lynch, for example, I reported the day before SummerSlam, Becky Lynch is at SummerSlam, she has new wrestling gear. That's what I reported. Until it's the time, it's not the time. Joey, I have absolutely zero news on Camille, and you know that. Absolutely nothing, mate. Absolutely nothing. King Azza says, do you see The Rock and Cody and Roman in the same ring at the same time tonight? Yeah, that'd be fun, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? Sean says, my guess is after WrestleMania we'll see Alexa Bliss back. That's still very early. One says, according to Dave Meltzer, he believes AEW will book the TD Garden, home of the Boston Celtics, on March 13th, and Mercedes' Money debut. Joey says, do you see WWE working with AJPW again? William Regal is open to the idea and is actively negotiating further deals such as this. He's been integral to the TNA deal as well. Nicholas says, do you see The Rock helping Cody win if Cody decides to challenge Roman? Nope. I see The Rock having no involvement in WrestleMania whatsoever. Daniela says, Tom, what do you reckon the likes of Orton, Knight and Styles do now after coming up short at Rumble? I think LA Knight is on the route to a United States Championship match against Logan Paul. I think Randy Orton is en route to a match at WrestleMania against Solo Sikoa to help Cody win the championship. And I think AJ Styles, who the hell knows? Essentially. Chris says, Ibu of Wrestling Purists is saying there's going to be a big angle tonight. Retweeted pictures of The Rock at a gym in Birmingham, Alabama. Well, certainly if The Rock steps in the ring with Cody and Roman, telling, isn't it? Spider-Boss says, if The Rock appears on SmackDown, Cody's fans melt down. It will be funny. Michael says, little quote here. Andrew Zarian, before I leave, what's your favourite bank? I really like TD. I like doing my bank with them. Joel Pearl says, you know what really sucks? At the end of the month when you get a bank statement. That's not fun. Zarian says, yeah, but mine was post-dated. Well, it was weird. When I read the statement, it just said 313 on it. That's all I had in my account. The man has learned how to tease in a way that I quite enjoy. Oh, thank you, Chris, for confirming they're two separate things. I like that. I like that. You know your stuff. Not a surprise considering how you found me. The dude says the amount of people panicking over the Seth and Cody segment, The Rock coming back, just tells me people can definitely still be worked. They absolutely can, and so they should. It's wrestling. Let people enjoy it. Let people enjoy it. Kevin says, I love Rick Ucchino. Me too, mate, me too. He's excellent in his job. I discovered your work, Tom, listening to Rick's old podcast. Ah, yes. Back in the day. I do miss those days. I was one of his favourite to come on. He'd just call me up on good old Skype, record a segment with me. And then, yeah, he worked with me at Sportskeeda for a while. The reason he got the opportunity to wrestle so many journalists is because of that radio show. And he absolutely took it and ran with it. He's doing great things right now, and I could not respect him more. Sai says, looking forward to new SmackDown announcer setup tonight. Was hoping they might use Punk in that role while he's out, but I guess not. Joey says, do you not get a lot of news of new signings and interest in certain wrestlers? Quite a lot, yeah, but nothing that I can necessarily report. A lot of rumours. HCar says, do you think WWE and TNA will have a pay-per-view like AEW and New Japan? Nope. Zane says, who would you like to see get called up from NXT to the main roster? The ones who've already been, so Bron Breakker was always going to be the one for me, though I think Roxanne needs to come up before she starts to lose momentum. Daniela says, maybe we could see more of OC and the next steps between them, and that they can't get on the same page. It's not for me. AJ Styles is boring now. For me, personally. I'm not ready to accept it, but it is. Well, that's right, Steve. Opportunity. Coot says, hello, Tom. The concept of Bron Breakker possibly taking Brock's spot against Gunther, the story is already there. He is the last person to pin him. Absolutely right. Brillman, how are you doing, sir? Always a pleasure to see you. Hopefully we'll get you back on this channel at some point soon as well. Nice to see you, sir. Hope you're doing good. Spider-Boss said, at this point, I think only Jade Cargill could beat Rhea for the women's world title. I think Bianca Belair may have something to say about that. I will not be answering that question. McWawa with cheese. That would be pure speculation, and there is a possibility that it could prejudice an ongoing investigation. Last piece of news is as regards Brock Lesnar. Strap in for this one. Brock Lesnar was on. It's just the wrong thing to say. Brock Lesnar was in the midst of an ongoing contract negotiation when he was essentially told, "You are no longer required at the Royal Rumble." The intention was that Brock Lesnar would be signing a new deal and then on the way to a loss at WrestleMania against Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. With this in mind, Brock Lesnar's merchandise is being sold at a discount, primarily because soon it's going to be pulled. Primarily because, as I mentioned, there was an ongoing contract negotiation. Brock Lesnar, to my knowledge, will soon be out of contract. The WWE have shown no interest whatsoever in renewing that deal. Brock Lesnar is being pulled from WWE-connected projects, such as, I can confirm, Supercard, and there is very much an interest in making sure that happens on 2K24 as well. The WWE, particularly TKO, have sent a message out to all connected areas to simply state, when it comes to Brock Lesnar, the affiliation is over. They are wearing down his contract. They are allowing it to expire. Instead of suspending him or anything of that nature, they are just letting it go quietly away. Any investigations which will include Brock Lesnar are likely to continue. We will have to wait and see what the eventual intention is with those. At the moment, he was named by the Wall Street Journal. He is not named in the court filings. But Brock Lesnar will not be used by the WWE, at least going forwards. Now, one thing I do want to mention about this, guys. I want to mention something about the reporting. Because shortly after the Royal Rumble, there were a whole load of reports that Brock Lesnar was supposed to face Gunther at WrestleMania. My name, as usual, was at no point mentioned. Now, there are reports that Bron Breakker replaced Brock Lesnar in the Royal Rumble. Funnily enough, once again, my name has not been mentioned. Brock Lesnar will be the subject of WTF Wrestling this weekend, so be sure to tune in. I promise you, it'll be an interesting one. Spider-Boss says, just as Bron Breakker have Roxanne Perez on the main roster is long overdue. And also says, I wonder who is responsible for Sasha and Naomi were unprofessional 2 years ago. They no longer work for the company. You might suggest that they were a victim too. Sai, we're actually going to go one better, but I appreciate you doing that. Let me make sure it's... because I'm going to use that to open the show. Now, before anyone goes anywhere or goes over to the Ladies Wrestling Showcase, which is being publicised there by Sai, stick around, because we do have a few more comments to read through and a few more questions to get through. But if you'll bear with me just a moment, after this show ends, we're going to do a raid, guys. We're going to do a raid, and... come on, Astrid, she's not ready for it. She doesn't allow... oh, no, she does. There she is. Come on, give me that. Yeah. So right after this, we will be going over to the Ladies Wrestling Showcase, episode 16, Ric Flair's comments on a top 5 women of 2023. For those who don't know, Astrid recently got a huge opportunity, appreciate you, Sai, a huge opportunity to attend the Royal Rumble as media via Body Slam. And honestly, I hope she had a great time. She's doing great stuff right now. She's worked with Ed quite a lot. She's worked with Lauren quite a lot. She's a member of the community here. She's a member of the family here. And I want to do everything possible to ensure that she gets as seen as she possibly can be. So be sure not to go anywhere when this show ends. Sovic says, which brand will Jade be a part of? I still expect her to face Nia Jax, but there are reports that she'll be joining SmackDown. Personally, I don't think she'll actually join either until we get to the draft. That's the easiest way to get her doing both. Carlos says, as per PWInsider, CM Punk is backstage on SmackDown as he had surgery yesterday at the same location in Alabama. He's in visiting. Brillman says, is there any specific reason WWE is letting the contract expire with Brock? Seems a bit surprising to me. Or have I missed something? I think you might have missed something there, Brillman. I think you might have missed something. I'm reticent to inform you myself. Maybe have a look back through my Twitter as regards the allegations against Vince McMahon. Joey, I'm not sure on Tamatonga. Probably staying the same, to be honest. Throwing weapons. Interesting, HCAR. And HCAR says, any news on the WWE draft? Not at this point in time. The plan is still post-WrestleMania. It is 5 minutes past the hour. Spoiler warning time has officially concluded. There will not be a watch party tonight. WTF Wrestling will return on Sunday about Brock Lesnar, and then Monday we'll be back with spoiler warning. Until then, there'll be plenty of shorts, plenty of content, and I'll keep you as informed as I possibly can. I've been Tom Colohue. You have been fantastic, and timing, and I'll see you all very soon.